Hello and welcome to our special election series, Battleground 2021, that gets a detailed analysis of election news and views from the poll-bound states. I'm Tina Jha. Over the next half an hour, we'll bring you a detailed report of all political parties, candidates, and the scenario of the state where we will be joined by experts who will be sharing with us their perspective about the fifth phase of polling in Bengal. From hills to plains, West Bengal plugs in for the next bout of power play as the fifth phase of polling will be held tomorrow, that's the 17th. As many as 45 constituencies across 6 districts will go to polls in this phase. Now, in the fifth phase, there is a clear division among the political dynamics. Among the 45 constituencies, 13 are from North Bengal, which is believed to be a stronghold of the BJP. On the contrary, the ruling Trinamool Congress finds it a relatively comfortable position in the South Bengal seats. Despite it losing foothold, the left front can also create some surprise in some of the seats in South Bengal. Voting for 45 seats will be held in 6 districts in the fifth phase. The maximum number of seats in the fifth phase will be 16 of North 24 Parganas, 5 seats of Darjeeling, 8 seats of Nadia, 8 seats of East Bardhaman, 7 of Jalpaiguri, and 1 seat of Kalimpong. The Bengal Assembly elections began on the 27th of March, and the second phase of voting took place on the 1st of April, the third on the 6th of April, and the fourth phase was held on the 10th of April. Now, the fifth phase of polling will be held on the 17th, and after this, the sixth phase will take place on the 22nd of April, the 7th on the 26th of April, and the 8th and the final phase on the 29th of April. The counting of votes for all 294 seats will be held on the 2nd of May. Giving some more details about the fifth phase of polling, in all 319 candidates, including 39 women, will be vying for the 45 assembly seats spread over 6 districts in the fifth phase. The BJP has fielded candidates on all 45 seats, while the Trinamool Congress is contesting on 42. The TMC has left 3 seats for its ally, the Gorkha Janmukti Morcha. In the Dabgram Phulbari constituency, there is a contest between TMC candidate Gautam Deb, BJP's Shikha Chatterjee, and CPIM's Dilip Singh. Senior TMC leader and minister in the state government, Bratya Basu, is contesting from Damdam. CPIM has fielded Palash Das and the BJP has fielded Bimal Shankar Nanda from this constituency. While on the other hand, the BJP has fielded Sabyasachi Datta from Bidhan Nagar against TMC's Sujit Bose and Abhishek Banerjee of the International Congress. So to discuss how crucial is the fifth phase of elections for all political parties in the fray and the issues that are dominating the districts that will witness polls tomorrow, I'm joined by 2 distinguished panelists on the program today. Let me introduce them to you. I have with me Mr. Srimoy Talukdar, he's Senior Editor, First Post, and Mr. Sanjay Singh, he's a Senior Journalist. Thank you to both my guests for joining me on this election special episode on Sunset TV. Mr. Talukdar, so let me begin the program today with you. But before we begin talking about the significance of the fifth phase, I want to take up a question relating to the current scenario in the state. Countrywide, we are witnessing a massive surge. If we talk about Bengal on Thursday, the state recorded its highest single-day spike, more than 6,700 cases. And another data suggests that there's been a 450% increase in the active case load in just about 14 days in Bengal. Now, the question that comes to everyone's mind and that is being asked as well is, in such a scenario, should public meetings, rallies and campaigning by political parties be allowed to continue?
Thanks for inviting me. I think it's a very good question, and it is something which all political parties will, and as well as the Election Commission, will need to ponder on. I understand that a meeting took place today. It was an all-party meeting which was convened by the EC. And I think COVID-appropriate behavior and maintaining of COVID protocols were stressed on. From the BJP side, in fact, I'm just coming from another discussion where I was a member of a panel where a BJP representative was also there. And the gentleman was telling us that the BJP is ready to comply with any direction or any restrictions on campaigning during rallies or voting that the EC might deem it fit. And apparently the party says that it is also requesting its karyakartas, and it has also requisitioned a large number of masks and hand sanitizers so that people attending the rallies of BJP are adequately protected. But I think that it will be wrong to sort of see the election as a binary between, saving lives and going for polls, because I think both can be done at the same time. It need not be a binary. I think if the political parties are a little more responsible, and if they stress their karyakartas and their cadres to be more responsible, and ask the people who are coming at the rallies to behave more responsibly, maintain social distancing is not possible, but maintain mask wearing and COVID appropriate behavior, then I think to a large extent this can be protected. Also, do not forget that the COVID is surging not only in poll-bound states, but also in states which are not going to the polls. I believe it is the second wave, which is very virulent, and it is covering the entire India. It is a good debate point to consider whether polls should go on during COVID times, but I think it can be, because polling is also very important for democracy.
Absolutely. संजय जी, आपकी क्या राय है? क्या इलेक्शन कमिश्नर, इनफैक्ट अभी ब्रेकिंग न्यूज आ रही है कि इलेक्शन कमीशन ने शाम के 7 बजे से सुबह के 10 बजे तक इस तरह की पब्लिक मीटिंग्स पर फिलहाल रोक लगा दी है। क्या ये सफिशिएंट है इस तरह के सर्ज को रोकने के लिए, और क्या एक मिडिल वे आउट हो सकता है? क्या इलेक्शन कमीशन पार्टीज को ये कह सकती है कि आप वर्चुअल इलेक्शन मीटिंग्स कंडक्ट करिए?
देखिए, आपके सवाल के दो पहलू हैं। एक तो जो इलेक्शन कमीशन का जो आप ब्रेकिंग न्यूज बता रही हैं, जो उनका डायरेक्टिव है, वो जो एक बाकी स्टेट्स में नाइट कर्फ्यू जो चल रहा है, उसी का एक एक्सटेंशन है वेस्ट बंगाल में। तो पार्टीज को जनरली 10 बजे तक का समय होता है, इस केस में 7 बजे तक का समय होगा। 7 बजे तक का समय होने का मतलब ये है कि 6:30 बजे तक वो सारी चीजें जो भी वहाँ पे कैंपेन की एक्टिविटी हो रही है वो खत्म हो जाए, और जो जहाँ है वहां से अपने डेस्टिनेशन पे, जिन्हें जहाँ रुकना है, ठहरना है, रह रहे हैं, या जो लोग पार्टिसिपेट करने भी आए हैं वो लोग चले जाएं। दूसरा पहलू ये है कि देखिए, इसको देखने के 2-3 नजरिए हैं। एक तो जो चीज जिसके कारण ये ज्यादा चर्चा में आया है, बहुत सारे लोगों का एक तो कंसर्न जेन्युइन है, इसमें कोई संदेह नहीं, और कोविड-2 जो है, जो अभी का नया सर्ज है, वो कोविड-1 से ज्यादा तेजी से फैल रहा है। उसका एक कारण ये भी है कि हम शायद ज्यादा इस बार रिलैक्स्ड हो गए हैं। फर्स्ट टाइम में नेशन वाइड लॉकडाउन शुरू हो गया था, और कई चीजें और भी हुई थी, जिसके लिए उस समय काफी क्रिटिसाइज किया गया था। उसके बाद, उस समय नहीं, उसके बाद क्रिटिसाइज किया गया था। आप देखेंगे कि सेम सेट ऑफ लोग, जो ये क्वेश्चन, मुझे तकलीफ इस बात से होती है जब आप कहते हैं कि इलेक्शन होना चाहिए क्या, क्योंकि इलेक्शन एक हाफ वे हो चुका है, इलेक्शन की एक प्रक्रिया, उसको रोकने के अंजाम क्या होते हैं, इस पे भी जरा चर्चा कर लें कि इलेक्शन अगर किसी स्टेट का ड्यू है और हाफ वे इलेक्शन हो चुका है और इलेक्शन नहीं होता है तो क्या होगा। तो जो लोग इसके लिए ज्यादा फोर्स कर रहे हैं कि इलेक्शन होना चाहिए या नहीं होना चाहिए, इलेक्शन कैसे होना चाहिए, इस पे जरूर बात करनी चाहिए। तो इलेक्शन कैसे होना चाहिए, मान लीजिए कि वर्चुअल रैलीज की एक बात है। हमने जब बिहार चुनाव शुरू हो रहा था, उस समय में भी पोस्ट कोविड इरा में, कोविड का अनलॉक वाला इरा था जिस समय बिहार का चुनाव हो रहा था, उस समय भी इस तरह की बात हुई थी। और उस समय पहले ये लग रहा था कि सारी रैलीज जो होंगी वो वर्चुअल रैलीज होंगी, और उसकी तरह से पार्टियों ने तैयारी की थी। उसमें जो पार्टी सबसे ज्यादा तैयारी की थी वो थी बीजेपी, और बाकी पार्टियां उस तरह से कह रही थी, लेकिन तैयारी उनकी नहीं थी। तो अगर अभी होगा तो मुझे लगता है कि वहां भी जो पार्टियां होंगी, बीजेपी तैयार होगी, कांग्रेस और लेफ्ट शायद उतनी तैयार, कांग्रेस इन एनी केस कैंपेन में है नहीं जितना कम से कम बाहर से दिखता है। लेफ्ट का भी वही हिसाब है। अलग अलग तरह की खबरें आ रही हैं कि वो अलग तरह से, उनके जो कार्डर और सिंपैथाइजर हैं या वोटर्स हैं या लीडर्स हैं, वो किस पार्टी की तरफ उनका प्रेफरेंस जा रहा है। टीएमसी के इश्यूज कुछ अलग होंगे। तो देखिए, उसको लिमिट तो हो सकता है, नंबर्स तो ऑफ कोर्स, जैसे पर्टिकुलरली आप अगर प्रधानमंत्री मोदी की रैली में, अमित शाह के रैलीज या रोड शोज में, या जेपी नड्डा या ममता बनर्जी, मतलब इतने लोग, या कुछ और जो लोकल लेवल पे बाकी लोग आते होंगे जिनका नेशनली उतना टेलीवाइज नहीं होता है, अगर आप देखेंगे तो वहां कई जो जिस तरह से हो रहा था शुरू में, उस समय कोविड नीचे जा रहा था, या जिस तरह से सर्ज हो रहा था वैसा नहीं। तो इस समय में अगर इलेक्शन कमीशन कोई भी डिसीजन लेता है कि कोविड अप्रोप्रिएट जो प्रोटोकॉल, जो पुराना प्रोटोकॉल था, प्रोटोकॉल उसी तरह से चले और वर्चुअल रैलीज हों, तो इसमें मुझे लगता है कि किसी को कोई आपत्ति होगी नहीं, और
बिल्कुल,
आपत्ति
फिलहाल
हो
अभी एक ऐसी
तो
जरूरत महसूस हो रही है कि ऐसा एक प्रोसीजर अपनाया जाए जिससे कि एक डेमोक्रेटिक स्पिरिट जिसकी मिस्टर तालुकदार ने बात कही वो भी बरकरार रहे, और साथ ही साथ इलेक्शन कमीशन ये इंश्योर करे कि जो वोटर्स वोट डालने आ रहे हैं उनकी सेफ्टी का भी ख्याल रखे। ठीक है, अब आगे इश्यूज और क्या सिग्निफिकेंस है फिफ्थ फेज की, इस पर भी बात कर लेते हैं। Mr. Talukdar, so in terms of number of seats, if we look at the fifth phase is very, very crucial. But if we talk about the political parties, what is at stake for the BJP, in particular the ruling Trinamool Congress in this particular phase?
This is a very interesting phase because this is the phase where the BJP did extremely well in 2019. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, they had got around 45% of the vote share in 2019. Whereas the TMC had got around 41%. Even though the seat share, TMC was at least one seat ahead of BJP. These things doesn't always translate into, doesn't always mean that voting share, increase in vote share doesn't mean concomitant rise in seat share, because you have a first past the post system. But the fact is that the TMC had suffered a huge amount of reverses in 2019. If we compare the results with 2016, when TMC had practically swept this region, but in 2019 they had actually lost specifically the North Bengal region. In the South Bengal has always been TMC's stronghold, and it remained TMC's stronghold even during 2019. So this election, this particular phase, this fifth phase, you'll find the seats stretching from the hills in Darjeeling to the rural areas of Nadia and Bardhaman, East Bardhaman, and also North 24 Parganas. So the issues are divergent. In the hills, the issues are mostly about the statehood of Gorkha land, which has which we are not listening so much now. At one point of time, it used to be the issue going into the polls, but right now this issue is a little bit on the back seat. But the Gorkha land issue has been replaced by a concern for the NRC CAA, and the TMC is right now campaigning by saying that the Gorkhas might face a huge amount of problems if NRC comes, and they might be ousted. And just the other day, I saw Amit Shah during his poll rally refute the charges, saying that nobody can touch the Gorkhas even if NRC is carried out. So this is right now the biggest issue in North Bengal, and also the distress faced by the tea garden workers, their low wages. In South Bengal, it is about rural distress, and also the fact that Mamata Banerjee government has not allowed the PM Kisan Samman Nidhi to reach the farmers of West Bengal. So BJP has made that into a campaign poll, the campaign plan. So these issues will be there, but there is also another angle which increasingly will become more and more prevalent as we go into the last few phases, and that is the performance of the left and Congress Samyukt Morcha, because the left in some pockets of North Bengal, like Siliguri, where Ashok Bhattacharya will be there, and also in some pockets of South Bengal, the left can still hold its own. And as we move closer to Kolkata, we will find that the left will probably make a bigger difference than it would be made in the earlier stages of this poll. So I personally feel that the fifth phase will probably hold the key for this entire election.
Okay, Mr. Singh, very interesting observation made there by Mr. Talukdar, that the Congress and the left could maybe regain some lost front with the help of the ISF. What do you think? Does that look probable on the ground? Will Abbas Siddiqui's will his joining hands with the Congress and the left help this alliance in any way?
See, my experience with elections are generally the Abbas Siddiqui ISF that you're talking about, that is essentially they have Muslim support base. Muslim community votes very strategically, voting for a party or a candidate who is able to defeat the BJP, and there is no confusion in that. 90% votes go to that particular party, if not the candidate. And in this case, in West Bengal, people know in that particular community that left and Congress combination is not going to make the government in any case. So therefore, that particular vote, in any case, which was there with Mamata Banerjee broadly, that number, if that was there in 2016 around 70%, that number is going to go up to 90% or 90% plus. I don't see Abbas Siddiqui making much of dent, though his rallies are well attended. But when it comes to actual voting, the situation might be different. The left and Congress has already conceded defeat. They are nowhere in picture. To best of my information and to my assessment, the left supporters, cadres, leaders, and as also of that of Congress, their support base is drifting mostly to the BJP and remaining one would remain with them because they realize those who are fighting against Trinamool from left front, they realize that their position, whatever that was, and their worth on the ground and their fighting capability is gone with Mamata Banerjee being there. Okay. So, and left on its own is not able to fight Mamata Banerjee. Therefore, their support based to maximum strength would go to the BJP, some maybe to Trinamool, and whatever is left with would be left, and Congress is not going to make any better than what was their position in 2016, maybe even worse. The Congress actually is nowhere in picture. So Congress, if at all there was 10 votes for Congress party in 2016, it would reduce to 5 or 6, of 3 or 4 to the Congress, rest would go to the BJP. In intellectual class, it may sound to be very good that they may talk about the left and Congress and Third Front and Sanyukt Morcha, but eventually when it comes to voting, if they're against the BJP, they would vote for the Trinamool. Some of them still may vote for Congress and left, but I don't see any great prospect for the Sanyukt Morcha.
Okay, and what about the hill districts? What new possibilities do you see opening up in Darjeeling, in Kalimpong? Will the split in the Gorkha Janmukti Morcha help the Saffron Party or the Trinamool Congress? Because Bimal Gurung has this time extended support to the Trinamool.
That was a good support base of BJP. That used to be good support base of BJP. They sent 2 MPs, those who were not from there, Jaswant Singh and subsequently Sundar Singh Ahluwalia. Mr. Ahluwalia is still a BJP MP from West Bengal, not from Darjeeling. Subsequently, there was a split. There was some confusion. There was some confusion between BJP leadership and Gorkha Mukti Morcha leader. And subsequently, they split. One of their leaders went missing for a long time. And now, of course, the situation is not as rosy as it used to be for the BJP. The 2 split parties are contesting against each other. Trinamool is also vying to make some dent or make some better inroads in the hill areas. So BJP is also trying very hard. Hill areas, I think, is poised to be in a very interesting contest.
Okay. Mr. Talukdar, another interesting data that has come forth, if we look at the past 4 phases of polling that have taken place in Bengal, compared to the previous assembly elections, the voting percentage has been less. What does that indicate?
It is interesting. Bengal has always been one of those states where the voting percentage remains very high. So I do not see a direct correlation between voting percentage and generally we are led to believe that if there is a high amount of voting, it goes against the incumbent party because the anti-incumbency factor comes into play. But because of the fact that Bengal usually experiences a very high voter percentage of I think around 80 to 85% is the normal voting percentage in Bengal. So I'm not very sure whether we should read too much into that. There could be a number of reasons behind this slightly lower voting percentage. Do not forget that this time the poll is being held over 8 phases and the security bandobast is quite tight. So it is possible that some amount of poll rigging, which still used to take place in the earlier instances in West Bengal, which has historically been a place where polls are concomitant with violence and rigging, it is possible that this time, due to greater vigilance, the fake voting has come down a little bit. But I'm taking a calculated guess. I do not really have any data to back my theory. I would just like to differ with my panelist, Mr. Sanjay Singh, on one respect regarding the left front's influence in these polls. I believe that 2 things have happened this time, which leads me to believe that the left might do marginally better than what they did in 2016 and 2019. It is quite true that the left front's voting base is experiencing a mass erosion in support of BJP. In fact, if you look at the voting patterns in West Bengal, you'll find that the TMC has more or less held on to its own voter base, but it is the left front voter base that has completely transferred itself from the left front to the BJP. In Bengal, we call it from Bam to Ram. So there's been a straight sort of conversion. However, this time the left front is doing a very interesting thing. It has fielded a lot of very young candidates. That has traditionally been an accusation against the left, but it is a party of elderly people. But they have fielded a lot of very young candidates, and these candidates have brought their own energy into the ground. And another thing which the left front has done this time is that it has latched onto the popular culture by releasing very catchy songs, and those songs are going really viral. Now, I'm not claiming that this has a direct correlation with voting percentage and left front will automatically do better. But all I'm saying is that they're campaigning better this time. They're targeting better this time. And traditionally, the seats that will go into polls in the next few phases, and of course in Kolkata, there people remain, axiomatically averse to the politics which BJP does. I'm not going into a judgment of whether BJP does right or BJP does wrong, but axiomatically, because of the fact that Bengal has seen a 34-year left rule, the politics that is dominant in the urban centers of Bengal goes against the BJP. So I think it would be interesting.
Okay, so even if they do not regain the lost front, what they could do going forth is, because of the young candidates, and you're saying they're campaigning better,
I think, yes,
they could dent the prospects of the other candidates.
Because after all, the left front's vote will obviously be anti-incumbency vote. So it will probably aid TMC more. So this is a theory. I don't know how it is going to play out and I don't really want to stick my neck out for what is going to happen.
That is something for which we'll have to wait till the 2nd of May. संजय जी, आपके पास आना चाहूंगी, और एक चुनावी हिंसा का एक ऐसा मुद्दा है जो बंगाल चुनाव को लेकर खास करके हर समय सुर्खियों में रहता है. अगर हम कम वोटिंग की बात करें, जिस तरह से पिछले 4 चुनावों में हमने देखा है कि पिछले विधानसभा चुनाव के कंपैरिजन में कम वोटिंग हुई है, क्या चुनावी हिंसा से इसका कोई सरोकार हो सकता है?
टीना जी, अगर कम वोटिंग की बात करते हैं तो वो 0.5 to 1.5 का डिफरेंस है पिछले चुनाव में. अगर आप पिछले 4 चरण का चुनाव देखें तो जो सिग्निफिकेंट बहुत ज्यादा मुझे इसलिए नहीं लगता, वो एकेडमिक चर्चा का विषय हो सकता है. रियल इश्यूज, रियल इलेक्शन के जो ट्रेंड्स हैं उसको इम्पैक्ट नहीं करता. उसके कई कारण हो सकते हैं जिसके बारे में श्रीमान अभी चर्चा कर रहे थे. उससे निकल करके दूसरा सवाल ये आता है कि ये जो वोटिंग का परसेंटेज है वो किसकी तरफ है, क्या जो चैलेंजर बीजेपी है या जो इनकम्बेंट है तृणमूल की तरफ. उसके बारे में भी मतलब अभी का अगर आप एक नजरिए से देख लीजिए तो जिस तरह का भाव निकल करके आ रहा है उसमें जो असेंडेंट राइज पे है वो बीजेपी है. इसमें किसी को कोई कंफ्यूजन है नहीं. जो पार्टी 3 सीट पे थी, आज यहाँ पे आप आमने सामने 2 पार्टियों की बात कर रहे हैं, तो इससे साफ मतलब निकल करके आता है कि एक पार्टी जो पिछले चुनाव में 5-6% पे थी, उसके बारे में लोकसभा के आधार पे आप चर्चा कर रहे हैं, और किसी समय आप कहते हैं कि लोकसभा का आधार ही बेमानी होता है. इस बार ये कोई नहीं कर रहा है कि लोकसभा चुनाव के जो नंबर्स हैं वो नंबर बेमानी होते हैं और लोकल इश्यूज पे विधानसभा का चुनाव होता है. जो हिंसा की आप बात करें उसके बारे में 2 चीजें हैं. एक तो अभी थोड़ी देर पहले बीजेपी की तरफ से अमित मालवीय ने एक काफी रिवीलिंग एक कॉन्वर्सेशन उसको पब्लिक किया है, जिसमें ममता बनर्जी सिलकुल में जो फायरिंग हुई थी उसके बारे में वहां के कैंडिडेट को कह रही हैं कि आप बॉडी को अभी दफन मत होने दो, बॉडी को रखो, उसको किसी भी तरह उनको रोको और उसको लेकर के हम प्रोसेसन करेंगे. ये किस तरह का मतलब एक चीफ मिनिस्टर इस बात को कह रही है. दूसरी बात यह है कि एक जो हिंसा हुई और हिंसा का जिस तरह का स्वरूप को देने की कोशिश की गई और जो कुछ लोगों के द्वारा कोशिश की जा रही है कि शांतिपूर्ण कतार में कुछ लोग खड़े थे और कुछ पुलिस वाले अचानक पागल हो गए और वो गोली चलाने लगे किसी एक पार्टी के फेवर में, ये एक मुझे चिंता वहां पे होती है. दूसरी बात यह है कि जिस तरह के वायलेंस की आप बात कर रहे हैं, पोल वायलेंस वेस्ट बंगाल में, अनफॉर्चुनेटली वेस्ट बंगाल अकेला एक स्टेट है जिसके बारे में पोल वायलेंस या प्री पोल वायलेंस इस तरह से हो रहा है. पूरे देश में ये कहीं और नहीं हो रहा है. अभी इतने जगह चुनाव हुए, 4 प्रदेश के चुनाव निपट गए, वेस्ट बंगाल में ये अभी प्रथा जारी है. उस प्रथा पे भी लगाम लगना चाहिए. और अनफॉर्चुनेट बात यह है कि वेस्ट बंगाल के हिंसा के बारे में चूंकि एक बहुत बड़ा वर्ग इस चीजों को एक बाइनरी में देखता है कि वो प्रो मोदी है या एक एंटी मोदी है। एंटी मोदी तबका जो है वो किसी भी बाकी चीजों को, वो हर गलती, हर नाकामी, हर जाति को माफ करने के लिए और उसको एक किसी तरह का आइडियोलॉजिकल जामा पहनने के लिए तैयार होता है। तो यहाँ भी वेस्ट बंगाल में वो कहानी अभी तक चल रही थी। हुआ क्या है कि सामने जो चैलेंजर है वो उतना ही मजबूती से खड़ा हुआ है कि आओ हम लड़ने के लिए तैयार हैं, और ग्राउंड पे भी कई उनके सपोर्टर्स, इस तरह की चीज हो रही है जिसके कारण हिंसा जो है आपके सामने प्रकट रूप से वो आ रही है। मुझे लगता है सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस ने इस बार चुनाव में बहुत अच्छा काम किया है, जिसके कारण ये बात हो रही है। अगर मुख्यमंत्री ये कहती हैं कि इस तरह का एफआईआर किसी वकील की मदद से लगाओ, मैं वाउच नहीं कर रहा हूं कि किसी तरह, मेरे पास इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिफिकेशन नहीं है कि वो आवाज ममता बनर्जी की ही है, लेकिन अभी तक तृणमूल की तरफ से कोई डिनायल टू बेस्ट ऑफ माई इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं आया है। तो जब आएगा तो ये तथाकथित, चलिए कहते हैं तथाकथित जो आवाज है ममता बनर्जी की चीफ मिनिस्टर की, जिसमें कह रहे हैं कि ऐसा एफआईआर बनाओ कि वहां का एसपी जो है उसको हम लपेट लें और आईसी को लपेट लें।
I think that's very unfortunate, because having different opinions, having different ideologies is one thing, but loss of civilian lives in elections is something that is very, very unfortunate. We hope that the polling process tomorrow, the 5th phase of polling, is conducted peacefully in the state of Bengal. So with that, I'll have to call it a wrap on this election special bulletin of Sunset TV. Thank you once again to both my guests for joining me on the program and putting forth your perspective with us, sharing it with us and our viewers as well. Pleasure having you on the show. So that's it from us on the program today. Thank you for your time.